Let's take a look at lesson 911 from last time. As a reminder, we were working on the volume of rectangular prisms, and to find the volume in elementary school, you may have learned that you multiply the length times the width times the height, or you might have learned that you could multiply the base times the height. You were given this example yesterday where you had the problem that you could read through. There was a diagram and then two different ways of solving this example. After that, you were given the task of moving on to the next problem in the series, which is problem 9-10. Find the volume of the rectangular box at right if the area of the base is 8 and 45 square inches. Now, we have a calculator here because one of the things that we like to do is use our time efficiently when we are together. And in order to do the multiplication with a calculator, I have cleared up my calculator and I can put in 11 and 5/10 times 8 and 45 hundredths. And that gives me 97 and 175 thousandths. And I need to label that inches cubed. Volume is a three-dimensional measurement. We are talking about how much we can fit inside this box, or how much space it takes up in the world around us. The next problem is Joaquin's friend wants to help him. He wants help finding the volume of his cracker box. Joaquin measured it and found that it was 6 inches wide, 9 inches tall, and 3 inches thick. So one of the simplest ways we can do this is our way that we learned back in elementary school. 6 times 9 times 3. And if we think about order of operations, we could do some order of operations work to simplify this, which would bring this down to 54 times 3. And if we do that math with a calculator, we get 54 times 3 gives me 162 inches cubed. So the volume should be, for those of you that remember things that happened in elementary school, we did probably work on volume in grades 4 and 5, and length times width times height is something that you're going to be seeing as you move on into future years of math class. The next thing that we had set up for you to do is some conversions. And when I'm thinking about these conversions, for example, this one, I have 1.5 feet, and I need to figure out how many inches that is. Well, 1 foot is 12 inches, so I can put down 12. And a half of 12, I divide 12 in half, I get 6. So when I add those together, I get 18 inches, and that is one way to solve for that problem. Now, I went ahead and I have already done part of this problem here. 6 inches is how many feet? Well, up here I saw 1/2 of a foot, and when I take a look at my math up here, this is a whole foot, this is a half foot. So 6 inches is 1/2 of 12, or 1/2 of a foot. 3/4 feet, if I take a foot and I make a little diagram here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. 12 divided into 4 parts makes 3, 6, 9, and then 12. So 3/4 is going to be 9 inches. 27 inches, well, I can take away 12, and that's 1 foot. And that leaves me with 15. I can take away 12 more. That's another foot. And I end up with 3. Well, if I look up here, I saw that I can divide 12 into 4 parts, and 3 is one of those 4 parts. So I am going to write this out as 2 feet and 1/4. So 2 1/4 feet. 7 yards, well, 1 yard equals 3 feet. And if I multiply 1 times 7, I get 7 yards. If I multiply 3 times 7, I get 3 times 7 is 21. Now, if I wanted to show my work, I would do 3 times 7, 1 times 7, and then that kind of shows you how my work would set up. So 1 times 7 gives me 7 yards, 3 times 7 gives me 21 feet. And then 42 inches. So 42, a couple different ways I could do this. You could use the same strategy I used over here. Subtract 12, that gives me 30, that's 1 foot. Subtract another foot, and that gives me 8. Take away another foot. That gives me 6 left over. So I've got 3 and 1/2 feet because we learned up above that 6 inches is half a foot.